All righty. Well, hey, thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. I am super excited to get a chance to chat with some Intel vPro SMEs or subject matter experts. This is a cool new opportunity for me because I've been trying to sing the praises of and showcase all the sweet stuff that vPro can do. But it's one thing hearing it from me. It's a whole nother thing to hear it from the source and really get the sweet deep dive Intel background here. So Joab, if I may, hey, I could, go on and on for an introduction for you, but if you're all right with it, I'd love to get to know a little bit of your background, a little bit of an introduction on you, and just, I don't know, fill in the gaps for folks tuning in.
Yeah, of course, John. And first of all, I want to say, it's a real pleasure. It's an honor to be here with you and, trying to share a little bit of, my experience with you in your audience. A little bit about myself. I'm Brazilian as a background. I moved to US 5-6 years ago, but I've been working with Intel for the past 16 years. So I started back in Brazil as an engineer, and I moved to sales. Believe it or not, I moved to sales. Then I went back to engineering when I moved to US to work on some of our ecosystem players and help to enable them. That's what we say, which is enabling is help them to collaborate in development, in developing products and solutions together. And now, in the past 2 to 3 years, I'm back on a kind of technical sales and highly focused on Intel vPro. Right? Actually, my first interaction with vPro was back 2006 when I joined Intel, and now I'm back again on kind of helping our customers to understand what is vPro, how we can actually put solutions out there together to help to ease some of the pain points.
Well, I'm super excited to get into it. I, for one, and I think a lot of the folks listening in, love that technical sort of, hey, on the keyboard application-based stuff. So hearing, a little bit of the engineering background and getting in the weeds, I'm super excited to chat more. I know we've been, chatting about vPro, but I think when we just say the word or toss the term out, you were mentioning like, hey, we explain this thing, we dispel it and demystify. Can I get, if it's all right, your own words? Like, hey, how would you describe or explain the Intel vPro platform?
So first, I think you said something very important. You said vPro platform. Because Intel is, we are associated with processors, with CPUs, right? But vPro is not a CPU only. vPro is a platform. But before going to that route, vPro is a purpose-built platform or a purpose-built solution, which includes a CPU, chipset, Wi-Fi, but actually a laptop, calling endpoint, some sort of software. It can be a software tool in the cloud, or it can be a security or antivirus or security software, right? And also a layer of testing and program to test and make sure that everything is working together. And also testing some of the business workloads. So when I say purpose-built platform or product, it's business built, right? So we put together hardware, software, testing, different workloads all together to make sure that this solution will address business users. We, as users of the device, like myself, working from home, I have Zoom, Office is running on the back on my screen, a kind of basic business user. This is one workload that we're targeting vPro. But also making sure that the IT of the companies, it doesn't matter the size of the company, large enterprise or even a small business or a government or federal or education, but making sure that the IT of those companies are also happy and also having a good, experience. So that's vPro. Again, just to maybe summarize a bit, it's a purpose-built platform or a platform built for business. The same thing that we do for a gaming device, right? So I'm going to build my gaming PC. What are you going to do? So you have the latest and greatest CPU. You may have a, discrete graphics card. So you kind of purpose build that device, right? That product, that solution. We're doing the same vPro, but when we think about what we want, It's what we want to drive, what kind of user experience we want to drive for business, what kind of tools we want to give to IT in order to make the device more secure or remote manage those devices.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that you kind of mentioned it there, because I think if just as a knee-jerk reaction, if just kind of on reflex, when folks tend to hear Intel, it's kind of easy to think of, oh, the CPU. But there is so much more in there. And I'm so happy to see it come to life as that platform. With all those bells and whistles and with all the sweet stuff now, I have to ask, hey, is this something just for enterprise? Hey, we got some Fortune 500, bigwig companies, or just as easily, it's approachable, right, for small mid-market businesses. I work with a security provider in cybersecurity that deals with a whole lot of managed service providers or MSPs. And the question always comes up like, hey, is this palatable? Is this something that is approachable and affordable, right? But I'm thinking the answer is yes, but I totally want to hear from you, Joab.
Yeah, the answer is yes, but only actually this year when we launched the 12th gen CPU or 12th gen platform, that we expanded the vPro platform. And you are right. I mean, I think in the past, vPro was a one size fits all, right? We have everything in that platform. And I would say it was very much targeted for enterprise, for large enterprise, Fortune 500, which, by the way, we are in I think in most of the Fortune 2000 companies out there, right? With all the, as you said, bells and whistles, with all the features there, which was putting the target or the price of the platform a little bit higher for most of the companies, right? Now, with the 12th gen, we introduced two new family members or two new flavors to the vPro solution. So the original vPro, we're now calling vPro Enterprise, and now we have vPro Enterprise for Windows, right? That's vPro that it's here in the past 16 years, right? That's the original vPro. We also have a vPro Enterprise for Chrome, and actually this is great platform. That's Intel, going beyond the Windows ecosystem, right? Because we see out there that we have customers that they are adopting a mixed environment. Most of our customers, they work on a mixed environment, and we need to make sure that we can provide a business-oriented type of solution for those companies. As well as we launched the vPro Essentials, which is targeted for small business, right? With highly focused on security, right? And just to make sure that small business owner, you won't suffer with or get too much worried about security device, right? And make sure that they have an extra layer of security and a little bit of remote manageability in that device. And most important, know that device is being tested, right? It has the performance that they need to run their application. So now we have a full gamma of products that we can address different customer segments and different from small business to mid-market, large enterprise. Also, the implementation of vPro makes it easier for federal government, agencies to adopt the technology, right? Because, we can dive in this later. That's another 2-hour discussion, but very flexible implementation when it comes to remote management, right? Oh, I don't want to have that thing on the cloud. I want to have everything on-prem. Okay, we can make that happen. Right?
That's something that I would love to dive into if you're totally cool with it, because I was super happy to hear you're thinking like, yeah, we're breaking out of the just Windows ecosystem, and especially for, as you mentioned, hey, people, organizations, and companies are moving out of those barriers because you've got work from home. Obviously, in the world that we live in now, a whole lot of this is remote work. And that means it's oftentimes in a cheesy BYOD or bring your own device. Hey, you're not always going to be strictly on that operating system, but more often than not, it might be. But I know hey, we've got security. We're chatting about that's more super duper soon. I'd love to get into, but you mentioned a whole lot of the performance. You mentioned a whole lot of the stability, but the manageability, I know, and I'd love to pull on that thread because with that work from home, remote life, I've heard you mention, and I'd love to get a little bit more clarification if you could, on that whole idea of the PC fleet and how you can do that remote support, even what you've got a machine offline, you've got the operating system not quite booted up. Can you help me understand? Because it sounds like magic, which is awesome.
Yeah. When our architects or developers, our magicians develop or think about developing vPro, or actually evolving vPro, in the past 16 years, we kind of group our focus. We kind of focus in four basic pillars. One is performance, right? Another one is stability that you mentioned. Another one is security. And the fourth is remote management. I can dive in all those four pillars for you. But as you asked about, the remote management, this was the first feature that actually kicked off the vPro product back in 2005. It's not magic, right? We actually brought this technology, or we adapt the technology that exists on the servers, right? Most of the servers, it was a nightmare to manage servers in a data center. You have thousands of devices in a confined room. Which one is the one that it's having problems, right? So they have to develop a technology where, IT or the IT pro from a remote location could tap into the server, could manage that server, regardless the operation system status. Most of the time, a blue screen, you mentioned, or I don't know, erase the boot files, you've got a virus or things like that. So you don't have Windows. You cannot rely on the operation system. So there are a few things that, like IPMI was one of the standards back in the day, right? That we kind of used as a standard to develop our solution. And also management engine, right? Or having that concept of management engine, which management engine, it's to me, it's by going beyond my role here, if doing an analogy, it is an independent small computer running on the big computer, right? It has its own CPU, its own operation system. It is connected with different routes to the memory RAM, to the Wi-Fi, to the Ethernet. Again, it is a small computer that lives independent of the main computer. And that is the trick that vPro, all vPro devices, they have this technology. We call AMT, Active Management Technology. And then AMT is this technology based on IPMI, based on, management engine that will allow basically two things, that kind of buzzwords too in our industry: out of band management and below DOS management. So below DOS management means, this independent computer will take over of the internet connection, regardless the operation system status, right? There is no Wi-Fi, or IT push a wrong Wi-Fi driver. Now all the PC fleet are running on a wrong Wi-Fi driver. There's no connectivity on the Windows level. Then the management engine, or AMT, will take over and will establish that connection back to the server, right? This is the below DOS, which is also the out of band, right? Oh, there is no VPN, or there is no, connection to the operation system connecting to the operation, through the hardware, or through AMT. That is also an out of band connection. So that's how the kind of the magic kind of works in a very high level. And actually that enables some of the usage models that we are living today, post-COVID. I don't know if we can say post-pandemic or not, but
for sure.
Right? It's a new environment. People working from home, myself, or sometimes I'm sick of staying in the same room for 8 hours. I'm work from a coffee shop or something, right? People working from different places. But people are having more same problem. They still have blue screen. They still have, BitLocker issues, right? And I know IT, they cannot say, hey, can you come back to the office real quick here and so I can fix your device, right? Sometimes you're working far from an office location, or hey, ship your device back to IT here, and we're gonna fix and return it back to you. Yeah, but this is gonna take like 3 days. I need to do my job, right? Those are the few things that AMT will enable IT. It's a tool, right? Where IT will be able to connect to the device. It improves the troubleshooting time, right? You see what the user is seeing. You see the blue screen. You see the error message. You see that it's rebooting, and then you can apply a proper fix, recover, and things like that. So that's AMT.
Man, I think that's incredible. And I think a super cool use case, especially for some of those managed service providers or folks that need to do that and need to offer that power, that support, of course, the performance, but the technical support and remoting capability, I think has to be a game changer. And as you mentioned,
Yeah.
I think it's a common conversation that we have in the whole cybersecurity realm, because when people ask or we're chatting about like, oh, the network perimeter, or you're in the corporate office and that network itself. I think today's day and age, like there's no more perimeter. We've torn
Exactly.
down those castle walls. So having that mobile and remote support is incredible.
Yeah. And John, you mentioned MSPs, right? Actually, this solution, Intel solution, we're not trying to replace any other software or management software, right? It is to enhance.
Oh yeah.
It is to provide that extra tool, extra screwdriver in your tool set, right? Where you can manage those issues that most of the time will require a side desk visit, will require sending devices back and forth, right? So IT or MSPs actually can enhance their services. The MSPs, they can actually perhaps decrease their SLA time. Right? It isn't a service opportunity. It may be another revenue opportunity for them, right? To expand their value and to add more value. And I think that's something. And you mentioned another thing. It's we're not the boundaries. We expanded the boundaries. So it's beyond the firewall. Right? That's where we are. We are beyond the firewall today. So this technology will allow this managing beyond the firewall, but also in a safe way. I think, and I get this from InfoSec teams. So when talking to customers all the time, and how secure is that? Because I'm going to expose a port to the internet. So how this communication will happen, right? It is encrypted. It is not encrypted. What are the safeguards? And yeah, of course. This is another hour of discussion, and just to go into the safeguards. But the whole idea is to definitely have a secure environment.
I'd love to dance with that a little bit more, because I love that you were chatting about how this supplements what you might already have in your stack, your security stack, your software stack, whatever the case may be. Because we hear and we say more buzzwords, right? But like defense in depth and having layered security. I think the coolest thing about the vPro platform is that you start with this layer that is at the core. Like, hey, that's the machine, that's the endpoint, and it's the lowest level here when we're talking about below the OS security and et cetera. And I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. I'll be the first to admit. So if I could, I think it's sweet to pivot the conversation into some more of that security aspect. I meant to bring this up because you had one great keyword about differentiators and like, hey, how vPro platform stands out from the crowd and shines a spotlight here that like, I don't know anyone else doing something this cool. I'd love for you to riff on that if you got something.
Yeah, I do actually. And that's, I think, 16 years of development on a vPro, right? Again, as I said, it's a business, it's a purpose-built solution. Again, Intel going beyond the CPU, right? For us, it's kind of even easier because we have control of the chipset, of the Wi-Fi and AI. So our SoC, we have all that, and we can actually. The beauty of this solution is that Intel going beyond that and say, okay, how can we apply artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? And how can we work with our ecosystem, right, in order to have that more broadly available and also out of the box, right? So if you compare with our competitors, they don't have that, right? And we're seeing a lot of malwares or ways to exploit their platform is being increasing year over year, right? And I think one of the reasons is that they're catch up that they have to do, right? But at the other hand, in the other side, Intel will also have to do. We're doing more on marketing and advertising, or what our platform is capable to But most of the time, as you said, it should be transparent for the user. Right? It's there. And perhaps, our OEMs, or if you buy HP, Dell, Lenovo device, they use our technology in there, right? And they co-branded with different name, but it's as you said, the foundation is what we build. So yeah, and to be honest, I think yes, security is a big pillar, or the idea of vPro to reduce attack surfaces. I think that's the critical thing, right? How can we make sure that we can reduce the attack surfaces, right? In the different levels, at the hardware, firmware, VM, OS, and applications. But also making sure that we can do that in a way that we won't put a lot of burden on performance. So we need to make sure that performance is there and users still can do that, right? And we know that we cannot say that the platform is 100% secure, right? It's just impossible. That's the why AMT now plays a bigger role, because in my point of view, every company should have a plan B, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, we're doing our best to protect, to reduce attack surface, but what if? And what if it's AMT, right? It's okay, you got a ransomware or a malware. Let's isolate the device out of the network, right? Remotely and fast, and avoid that thing to spread, and still be able to manage, recover, and apply a proper fix to that device. So to me, that's a good combination, and another thing that will, as I said, will make vPro to stand out of the crowd, and also out of the competition as well.
And thank you for bringing that to the surface a little bit, because I super appreciate, that transparency of like, look, we can't give you 1,000%. Yeah, you're not going to get hacked or whatever. It's just prevention is hard, but I think the way that we approach it with this best effort, and we have to try, if anything else. And I think it's great to see all those great strides. And if I may, one thing that I absolutely wanted to call out and reference, I don't know if you get to play with it all too much, but the Intel Bug Bounty program is something that I'm just happy to see. Like, I think it's awesome. And I love the approach. That's a clear indicator. Intel and vPro platform, like it's just the right mindset. So my 2 thumbs up and kudos for that.
Yeah. Well, John, it's lessons learned. The bug bounty program, it's every reaction of issues we had in the past, and we learned from that. And we are proud to say that, we find 95, 96% of the issues internally, right? Yeah. So we assign a lot of, and my former role was to work on the ecosystem, but also on the validation of some of our platforms. So we have, between engineers and technicians, thousands of people working on testing, retesting, because vPro is built for business, and we need to make sure that everything is secure, everything is tested, right? Let's find the issues internally, right? And also let's public that. So another thing that I think it's lessons learned back from what happened in 2015, 16 is, more transparency. So if you go to the Intel website, we're going to find, Intel found, I think, 206 security things or issues in last year. But almost 100% was found internally, right? And then if you compare with the competition, they found 3. Yeah, but what kind of efforts are they doing, right? Are they transparent or not? So, I'm actually very proud to see that happening internally, because we have established those process, right? We have a team doing that, and it's every new vPro version we just enhance and make sure that this is secure, and we have all this. We can actually say this is built for business.
I love that it is outward and public, because I think it's great to share that, because I think it proves and validates, like, hey, we're beating up this trusted solution to make it even more trusted. We're making sure, and we're together, like community included, improving the security landscape is what I tend to say. But I think vPro platform even widens that. Like, look, this is the technology landscape that we're all kind of improving together here. So thank you for also pivoting a little bit into, you're mentioning pride. And one of the coolest things for me as I get to chat with you is, hey, one of the folks on the team, part of the crew here, I'd love to ask, I know it might be a weird question, but like, what are you most proud of about vPro? Do you get to go to any trade shows or see people and organizations like work with the device? And are there awesome, incredible success stories, or I don't know, real life scenarios where you get the validation like, man, we made something super cool?
Yeah. I have a few things that I'm proud of that I can associate back to the vPro platform. I think COVID or the lockdown was painful for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I think being, this technology, we saw a huge surge on people downloading what we call AMI, it's Endpoint Management Assistant, one of the tools that will help IT to go and manage those vPro devices, right? We saw a surge on downloads and activations. And I'm really proud that we put together this technology early in advance, right? We developed that. The tool itself, it's free, right? The AMI is free, you download it. But it definitely helped a lot of companies to continue to work and operate, right? So IT had a tool to go and manage those devices remotely and avoid perhaps more transmission on the COVID, right? I'm not gonna visit you, so I'm gonna fix your problem. User is stressed, right? A lot of things are going on, and let's manage your device. Let's fix your issue, but doing this remotely. I'm very proud of the technology in these unfortunate times, right? I think that's one thing that I can associate. That okay, I'm proud of that, and giving you this kind of direct correlation with something that everybody faced.
Oh man, that's awesome, and thank you for that sort of inside look, I suppose. But
yeah.
Well, hey, my friend, I want to be cognizant of your time. This has been wonderful. I think it's just super duper cool, and I'm excited to play with it more and really get to know and kick the tires on the vPro platform. But have I missed anything? Is there anything more that you'd love to offer? Anything else kind of on the top of your mind, even that I might have missed?
If you may, John, I think we hit a major points, and actually, thanks for the opportunity here. Talk about a little bit of security on vPro, on remote manageability. Right. And actually, it's my invitation that anytime you want to dive in more of those 4 pillars, happy to do that. Even do a live demo if you want. Kind of complicated to do live demos, but happy to do that, and how we can take control of the device. But happy to do that. I think again, vPro. It's a great platform out there, and we're doing our best to give IT and the user a tool for them to make sure that the business will continue, reduce costs, and make sure that everything it's making IT's life a little bit easier on remote managing the PCs, and definitely more secure as well.
Well, hey, you are shining a bright light in the industry, and I'm super happy. And thank you for letting me spend some time with you all.
Thank you.
With that said, this has been fantastic, and I'll take you up on that offer. We'll keep in touch. Hey, please consider me a resource and a friend, and we'll keep doing more, hopefully together soon. So thank you, Joel.
Thank you. Have a great day.